Currently you're watching video E4.p2-21, which is Weather Watch Activity Number 1. This is going to begin the activities that are going to deal with interpreting weather maps, being able to describe present weather conditions, and then also being able to predict what changes in weather over the course of a 24-hour period. And granted, we can look at it to be more extensive, say if we want to look at 36, 72, or beyond that. But at this point in time, we're going to focus on just kind of the changes that occur from a day-to-day basis rather than looking at extended periods of time. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to point out to you is you're going to need to collect the lab materials from Mr. Fuzak or myself. The lab materials are actually pretty simple for this particular activity. The first is you're going to need some sort of technology device. We listed an iPad just because we've used those more frequently this year. However, the use of MacBook Pros, Acers, iPod Touches, those sorts of things will work just as fine and just as well. All you're really going to need is access to weather.com, so it just has to have the internet ability. Okay. The second thing is you're going to need colored pencils, markers, and or crayons. Doesn't matter, you can combine, use one of each, but nonetheless you're going to need something to write on that's going to represent the correct colors that are used to represent the different types of weather fronts: cold, warm, occluded, stationary. And again, if you need to, go back and look at your notes from those types of fronts. And then the other thing is high pressure and low pressure as far as colors go as well. Alright, so once you've got the materials and you have the devices, obviously, the next part will be to start to read the background information, which is found on page 1. So if you've turned the page, you will find the background information right in this particular location right now. Okay, background information, as you can see right here, for Weather Watch Activity 1. Alright, the information that's here regarding the background for this actual activity is nothing too extensive. It's just giving you a brief background information regarding different types of fronts as to what you see, changes in weather, and so on and so forth. So again, it's just about observations, what you see, what taking place, and then using that information to predict what's going to happen in the future regarding weather. So we're going to start you off with the background information. Once you've done the background information, we're going to ask for you to answer a couple questions in the pre-lab question section, which is straight down here. In the pre-lab question, you'll see that there are a number of questions that will ask you to do a couple different things. And you'll see on the first page, there are 7, but as you continue to go through, we'll again continue to ask you to record information over a given period of time. And I will talk about this step in more detail in just a few moments. Okay, so here's the pre-lab questions for you to answer. These will come again from your notes, prior videos that you've watched regarding weather, and maybe just some information that you'll pick up in the background information from the reading as well. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with the actual procedures of the lab. What you'll notice with the procedures, they're listed here, starting with procedure step 1 and then procedure step 2 all the way down until you end up with procedure step number 5 on page 3 right here. Now, what we've done is we're going to actually have you do this in a shorter period of time than what the lab has you set up, partially because you'll be able to accomplish what our learning objective is versus the learning objective that was provided through the National Science Teachers Association, where this assignment came from. So what we're going to have you do is, and you're going to see it in a moment, is you're going to read through the procedures before you even start it. And the reason why, again, to get a better understanding of what you're going to do before you have to do it. The second part is you're going to begin the lab by rereading it and then beginning the procedures found on page 2 and 3. And the thing I'm going to point out about the actual procedures is this, is that you're going to be doing this assignment over the course of 5 days consecutively. And by doing it consecutively, it's going to be able to provide the information that our learning objective is, to be able to predict what's going to happen and also to demonstrate the actual changes within weather over the course of a 24-hour period. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at 5 days consecutively, because you'll be able to see the trends that take place throughout the entire United States regarding weather. Now, what you're going to be doing is you're going to start by recording weather based upon the data in which you're observing using weather.com. You're going to record that information on BLM, as it says right here, 1.1, and that sheet is located right here. So here you're going to record your date, time of observation, clouds, precipitation, and then other things that are mentioned about the particular place that you are looking at for the weather data. You may pick Hamilton as an example, you may pick Holland, you may pick some other place throughout the entire United States regarding the actual place that you're observing this stuff from. But you must use the same location every single time you record your information. Okay, so it has to be the same site, the same city that you're recording every single time over these observations. The second part of it is recording the information on the map right here, which is BLM 1.2. So you'll record what the national weather map looks like at weather.com, recording where the fronts are, where the high pressure and low pressure is. You may also want to include precipitation. Is it snowing? Is it raining? Sleet, hail, whatever else you may find on the national weather, just so you have that information for later. And again, I'll reiterate, at the very top of your actual assignment right here, you'll see that it says, note that this activity is going to be 5 days consecutive. So if you start this, say, on a Monday, you'll get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days consecutively. If you start on a Wednesday, that means you're going to have to do some work over the weekend. So timing of it might be more important to you, as to try, if you don't want to do this stuff at home or over on the weekend, is to do it starting on a Monday. But that may not be the case, or may not be possible for all of you. But the fact is that we want 5 consecutive days to show how weather moves across North America and the United States more particularly over the course of that period of time. Then that leads us into the last part right here, step number 7, complete the questions and conclusions. Before you're able to actually answer those questions, which I'll point to you and show to you right now, after 5 days, is because the information that you're going to be gathering is going to help to answer these questions, because these questions that are provided for you are talking about trends, things that happen over the course of time, not just necessarily on a particular day at a particular time. We're looking at a 24-hour period of time. What's happening with the weather? Is it changing? What causes it to change? Is it the same? What caused it to be the same? So you're not to answer any of the questions or conclusion questions that are listed here until you have recorded and gathered and drawn your maps for 5 consecutive days. Then that will help you to answer these questions more particularly and also give you a better set of data to answer these questions. Okay, so should you have any questions, you need any materials, or you're having issues or problems finding a particular site to record and observe over a 5-day period, come find myself or Mr. Fuzak. But as you'll notice right here in the time section, 5 minutes per day should be all that it takes for you to do this over 5 days. It shouldn't take you that long to collect all this data and then be able to record it and then answer the questions that go along with it. Alright, so if you do have questions, seek out myself or Mr. Fuzak, and we'll be more than willing to help.